We can start our Human Services Commission meeting at 7:02 p.m. on this November 10th chilly evening. Thank you all for being here. We do have a meeting happening over here, so we'll try not to be distracted. We do have public comment, I believe. That's first on our agenda.
Yep, received this letter and I thought I would share it from a couple.
I can pass my copy around if anyone.
And even though they signed it, I'm gonna skip. Anybody wants to see it, they can see it. But
yeah, but the person who wrote it told me the name is fine.
So the letter was to Massaro Farm and to us.
Oh, this is a different letter.
Oh, okay. Do you have the other one?
No,
Yeah, it's a different letter.
this is a different one.
Yep.
We have two letters.
Yes, and that's fine too, but let me read this one first. It's to us, and it went to Town Hall and to Massaro Farm. I'm just gonna say her first name. Eve and I want to thank you for the wonderful vegetables we received each week from your farm this past summer. You added to our health and broadened our experience of fresh vegetables. Without the Massaro program, I doubt we would have experienced the enjoyable flavors of white radishes, kale, and arugula. We hope the program can continue. Sincerely. It's just such a nice thing to write a beautiful letter, and these vegetables to 20 families will go out every week, and it's nice to see that at least this couple who lives here in town and rely on our assistance appreciate that. And now your letter.
Yes.
Which was one
Christy, did you want to read it?
That's fine.
All right. So this was dated November 3rd. Dear Christy, Jeanette, staff, and volunteers, thank you for a wonderful lunch celebration and health fair. It was superbly organized, in parentheses, as usual, and especially informative for us all. We may have appeared to breeze through, but some of us needed to get updated information as we age, hopefully, gracefully. And this is in reference to the Spooky Spectacular, where it's like a big health fair and then a luncheon after. Quite a few questions have come to mind, stimulated by the range of presenters you have put together in the gym. Others we spoke to remarked that they and we were unaware of how many services are available to guide us through getting help, often in a stressful situation. Also very good to see our two first selectman candidates there. After all, I thought our last census showed Woodbridge has a high percentage of seniors trying to stay in town. Lunch was great and the musician was really enjoyable and personable. We spoke to him, and he's a swing dance teacher too, and she's asking for his information because it might be right for her husband's 80th birthday. He'd be great for an afternoon sing-along too. Thank you for all you do. With appreciation, Jessie and Joe.
Very nice.
Very good. We have, I think, in addition to the agenda.
Yeah, just under the Human Services report, I'm just going to add in an update on the opioid prevention coordinator. If you'll make a motion, and
I make a motion to add that the opioid prevention counselor to the Human Services report. Do I have a second? Artie, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
thank you.
Very good. So now we have our September 8th minutes to approve. So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the date change.
Yes, from November 1st to November 3rd.
I'll second.
Thank you, Viviana. Any other discussion? So, well, Jen isn't here tonight. Jen and Alex weren't here. To abstain, all in favor? 2 abstentions, Jen and Alex.
No, Jen's not here, so she's
Oh,
not
yes.
abstaining.
She's
just out.
not here. Yeah, thank you. So moved. And on to the Woodbridge Center report.
I'm not gonna go through everything, especially because it's 2 months, so I'll touch on something. And I realized as I was kind of reviewing it that I left out a lot of my November programming that's coming up, so I will add that. In October, we were able to offer 2 sessions of the Tai Chi Chuan program, since we had 21 people registered for that. We started our new Chair Yoga Plus program, with 22 people registered for that, which was a really good turnout. And because it's been so popular, we plan to continue to offer it with consecutive sessions in the future. QBHD came here and offered a 8-week Matter of Balance program beginning in October. It's an evidence-based class that is designed to manage falls and increase activity levels through lectures and in-class exercises. So that started, as I said, in October, and they're offering to come back again in the spring if there's interest to offer it again. And we had a couple of lunches. We had our big annual townwide picnic in September with over 100 people in attendance. That's provided by Coachman Square every year, very generously. They take care of everything for that. And then we had, as Kathy mentioned, we had our spooky sponsor social. At the end of October, we had 27 vendor tables, or we call them vendor tables with those sponsors, for lack of a better word. And so altogether there was 45 vendors that came, or sponsors that came with the tables. And
In a beautifully decorated gym upstairs. It was,
Yes.
it was very fun.
yeah, so I think it's the most festive spooky sponsor social yet. And Jeanette helped to decorate it the day before. And
We had a lot of fun.
yeah, we had a kind of,
And the tables were all decorated too. Each vendor decorated and came in costume.
Yeah, it was really fun. And they were in costume.
yeah, it's a great event. It's a lot of fun, and more vendors and or sponsors and people are dressing up and decorating their tables as the years progress. This was the first year we had the recreation department and the town library there, which was nice to have them there. Since we do things with them throughout the year, it seemed appropriate. And then we had a couple little competitions for that our members voted on as they went through for the best costume and the most festive table. So Joy Prudhomme from a company with the Woodbridge won for the best costume. She had a beautiful costume.
Mother Earth or Mother Nature.
Yeah, she was, it was beautiful. And then Opalsburg won for the most festive table. Although there was, as we mentioned, there was a lot of people that were dressed up, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of volunteers, several volunteers that helped. We had one of our members help with setup. As I said, Jeanette helped with decorating, and Kathy helped, which was really nice, with Lynn Yazek to serve in the kitchen. So it was just a really nice event, and we had about 78 people of our members that came through. And then the Thanksgiving Day Luncheon is coming up on the 20th of this month, and the sponsors for that this year are Autumn Lake at the Willows, Coachman Square, Woodbridge Police Union, and Hearts at Home. And we have about 80 people signed up for that right now. And then we're having a painting, pizza, and pie this Friday. We're collaborating with the Beecher Road School Student Council. And we did it last year, and it was a lot of fun and a big success. And so we have 20 people registered for that, and they'll be bringing 27 students here for that as well. In October, we had 3 lunch and learns. We had 2 for Before You Vote, and with the representing the 2 major slates on the municipal ballot. And the third was about Medicare. We had about 35 to 40 people in attendance for each of those. And then in November, next years, because it's just moving really fast. But we're having a Healthy Knees Lunch and Learn, and that will be given by, I'm drawing a blank, Healing Hearts, sorry.
Healthy knees, not healthy niece. It sounded like your niece is healthy.
Maybe that'll be one for Nancy.
We're old enough to know that means.
Sorry. There's 55 people registered for that, which is the most that we've had for a lunch and learn yet. So that's a very big attendance. And then we had 29 people go on the Autumn Colors train trip that was offered through the Naugatuck Railroad. We only can accommodate 20 people on our buses, so people wanted to go and they carpooled and they met there, and which was really nice. And so they still participated with the group, and then they met at the restaurant afterwards at the Black Rock Tavern. And that's it for programming. The attendance numbers were really good overall. In October, we had 1,050, which is a big number for us. We haven't had in a while. And then, just moving on a little bit, for personnel, Rosa started and is doing really well. She's a quick learner. She's picking up, and it's just working out really well. And then for facility, our main refrigerator that we use in the kitchen isn't working right now.
76 degrees.
Yeah,
It's a problem.
it's pretty outside there.
We thought we thought they fixed it. There was a leak, they found it, they fixed it, and then it was only good for a couple of days, and then it broke again. So now it looks like the control board and the cap tube are not working, so that's scheduled to be replaced after the parts come in.
And we have almost enough money in the line item, but we will have to transfer money from one line item to another to pay for this. This is, I did up that line item last year by a little, but it's just so expensive to fix a refrigerator, and we need it, so it's not a question. And it's only, I think, 9 years old?
It's, I think it's 2016, they said, but when the first service person came, they said that they were surprised. They thought it was only 2 or 3 years old because it's in really good shape, so.
Except it's broken.
It looks good.
Thank you for stating the obvious, right?
Right.
So, yeah, we have made the decision not to replace it at this time, but, because that would be several $1,000s more, but to just try and cobble it along, and we'll be adding, probably it will rise to more than $5,000, so we'll be adding that to our 5-year capital budget plan to put in the mix.
Any questions?
Question about the frozen meals. Is there a change in numbers of people?
So it's a couple of things.
Yeah.
It's,
See a difference.
when the pricing doubled, we kind of phased the pricing in, I think, to absorb the increased cost. And then we saw a big drop then, which if you compare to last year would explain it.
Right.
And then we did have some people who ordered a larger amount of them and who are not ordering them anymore. And there's a few people less. It kind of waxes and wanes, but it is something that I'm keeping an eye on to see if it's something that is worth doing in the future, if it's worth the work.
And remind me what the cost is now?
It's $10 for.
Still hard to get a meal on Uber Eats for
For $10.
$10, and
That's delivered.
the
Delivery
convenience.
itself is,
Yeah. So
Right.
it comes with the entree, vegetables, a side, dessert, roll.
All right, so it's self-sustaining at the moment?
It is. And for the people that use it, it's very helpful. The people who can't cook or for whatever reason they just not healthy healthy meal or an option to have in the freezer to be able to pull out. There's some people who are going through some medical challenges, so it's
So it's
helpful to
value for
the
that.
ends of it.
And remember that the less meals we sell, the less it actually costs us, because the meals sell for what they cost us. It's the delivery that we have somebody doing, and we're hiring them anyway, so they're just driving back and forth. So maybe with less meals being delivered, we're using less gas or something. You know, it's not
Right.
costing us more money for a program that takes care of less people.
They do, the drivers do come in for other things,
Right.
it's not just for the meals, so,
And I do want to remind the commission that Christie, is giving us in a way more of a summarized report, but when you look at the information that she provides us, and we're talking about, I'm guesstimating, 40 different activities that, could be more, that since the last, whose numbers, are quite impressive.
Month over month and quarterly numbers, so she's really giving a lot of information.
Right.
draw.
Yeah, they're there.
Online.
Right, right, but, I do appreciate that you're summarizing, but I don't want us to forget that there's lots going on that we need to read, to see, but thank you very much, Christine. I'll make a motion to accept the Woodbridge Center report. Do I have a second? Lauren? I'll get you. And any discussion? All in favor? So moved. And you're going to help us with the youth services
I
report?
am. I just wanted to write down who's here tonight, so,
I have it here too.
yeah. And Viv will have it too. Okay. So I am going to present for Nancy, who is out of town tonight. And I'm just going to summarize as I read her report, which is there. She's had 2 youth evening programs, the Back to School Bash. Since we met, it happened in September, but we didn't have an October meeting, and the Halloween Spooktacular. Both were a lot of fun and well executed. And I might just pull something from my report and just say that the 2 new youth evening program per diem staff did start and attended those and have been doing great. So I can save you that later. She had a Home Alone class with a decent attendance, and there were just 7 kids, I want to remember that. She attended the back to school night, the PTSO color run, she was there. She was present for Woodbridge Like Me Day. We each had a table, and I covered human services and senior services, and she covered youth services. And a fair number of people came by. We talked to a bunch of people, and Nancy gave out a lot of schlock, stuff that other agencies want her to hand out. She attended a training for grant reporting, and we sponsored the truck or treat. We sponsored part of a truck, and I went out and gave away fried dough all night for the department. So that was a lot of fun with Kathy. And Kathy and I, got covered in powdered sugar.
Oh, yeah. It smells like McDonald's when I came in.
So we did, Nancy and I worked together, and we updated our impact plan for the grant. And we still don't have information from the town on the direction of this department, along with recreation department. So the impact plan just basically said, until we get direction from the town, we can't tell you. Basically we just put them off for a couple more months on that. And she's looking for volunteers for food sorting at school, and also for someone at Amity to provide tech help, tech support for seniors. We've had a couple of seniors looking for tech support, and we don't have a regular kid right now to provide that.
What is the food sorting that she needs?
So basically, she asked the high school for kids who can come regularly, not one-offs.
Okay, just to keep things.
So the food, right now, I probably will get to that in my report, but
Okay.
it's just about the food from the food pantry and getting kids to sort food as it comes in and also what we have. I'll probably cover it more
Okay.
in a couple minutes where it's sort of more suited. That's it. Keep it brief, because I'm not going to be brief.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the youth services report.
I'll second.
No, thanks, Karen. Any questions or discussion? All in favor? So moved, thank you. I'll let Jeanette expound on.
Sorry, I put a lot in here, but we haven't met and, stuff happens. So, we'll try and dive through this. As far as personnel, we were lucky enough to interview Amaris Murphy, spelled Amaris, but I put the motion into the template already, Viviana,
Okay,
so
perfect.
hopefully you guys will approve her. Her resume is in your packet. Amaris comes with her endorsement already. She has extensive background in driving. Currently, she's a security guard at I think a complex, like a housing complex or something. I can't remember, I don't have the resume in front of me, but she is qualified and charming. So we think she'll be good with the seniors. She's driven for first student, so she's got experience with some wheelchairs and some students with cognitive impairment. So she will be hired if you make that motion. Her background check and reference check came back delightful. So she's all set. If the posted salary, my report says $18.25, but Christy and I looked at this and really feel that we can move it to $18.50, closer in line with the other drivers that we have based on her experience. We had posted that original salary rate because we didn't know she was going to come to us already with her endorsement and experience. We've had candidates that we've had to send for their endorsement, and she got us her endorsement, she got us her physical, references were all good, so I'm ready if you want to make that motion.
I'd be happy to make the motion to hire Amaris Murphy as a human services driver at $18.50 an hour. Do I have a second? Alex. All in favor? So moved?
That was Kathy, Alex.
Yes.
Thank you. And thank you for, that'll make the transportation program run a lot smoother. The Youth Services Program Coordinator position, we had about 40 applications, resumes, and we interviewed one a couple weeks ago. We called a few more for interviews last week, and the one we interviewed a few weeks ago, who was way overqualified, he got a different job in the interim. And of the new ones we invited in, only one came for an interview, and she was terrific. She's bright, articulate. She's 26 years old, and her name is Ashley Manion Thompson. And I put that in there too, so you could have the spelling, Viviana.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have not gotten her background check back, and I have not called her references as yet. So the motion would be pending a clean background check and references. But she would be, it's approximately 19 hours a week for approximately 40 weeks, which is a total of 760 hours in our budget at $22 an hour. And she would be starting presumably right around the time Emmaris will start on the 17th of November. And her resume is also likewise attached. She comes with great experience. She's a good writer. She's just really a delight. And I was happy when I said, if we, want to propose you to the commission, would you accept? And she was like, yes. She's very excited. So.
Well, I'd be happy to make a motion to put forward Ashley Magnan as Youth Services.
Mannion Thompson.
Oh, thank you. Doesn't say that there. Okay. Thompson. As Youth Services Coordinator, 19-hour position for 40 weeks at $22 an hour, pending background check and references, right? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Viviana, thank you. All in favor? Great.
Nancy will be thrilled.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We'll all be thrilled because, if I could be done with hiring
Yeah.
for a while,
Yeah.
I'm so done with resume after resume. So this is great. Half of them, not that there's anything wrong with it, but half of them are forklift operators, and it's like, why are you applying for this job? Not that there's anything wrong with that work. Okay, onward. So we had the blood drive again. We were partnering with them again next year. They collected the last one in September, 27 pints of blood. I mentioned the Woodbridge Like Me Day already. Blooming for Good has chosen us again. We received $50 for their work in September, and now they're going to be at the Seymour Stop and Shop for flowers sold at $11.99 a bunch. We'll get $1. And it all, it's free money, so it's very nice of them. The Alzheimer's Walk brought in about a couple $100. The vaccine clinics were really well attended. And we had our last one last Friday, and between the 3 clinics, we gave out just about 350 vaccines, which is great. People are asking for another. The timing is kind of awkward. We did one last end of the spring, and those people are not quite due for their 6 months for COVID. So we will likely do the last week in January, first week in February, one more clinic before next fall, just to get those people. And there's a bunch of people who got shingles at the 3 clinics we had, and that's a 2-month to 6-month window for your second shot. Mm-hmm. So that would work for all of them as well to come here. Community CPR trainings. A doctor from Yale, an ER doc, ED department, approached the library with CPR trainings for the general public. They've been offering them through the library branches in New Haven, and it's hands only without certification CPR. What they're finding is that the numbers in New England are some of the lowest numbers in the country for survival if there's a cardiac arrest, because people aren't trained to start the process of at least CPR, start it until the EMTs can come. And where they've been training, the numbers are going up for survival. So thought it was a great idea, and people, it's a skill set anybody should have. It is, it's like, why not do that? Learn how, and maybe you can be of help. So he's going to partner with the library and do some community-wide ones. Basically every other month We're gonna do one at the library, and we're gonna do 3 next year at the senior center. And he's also going to, we've set 2 dates in April to train the rest of the town employees. My staff and a few others are trained every 2 years and they get certified. But this would be for everyone, you know, it's like, where's the AED? How do you take it off the wall? What do you do with it once you do take it off the wall? Oh, it talks to you. But, you know, knowing that stuff, knowing the process of the hands-only CPR, very important. So, and this you don't get to say very often, Yale's paying for it. So, free to us, and it's about an hour and a half class, questions, 2 hours, and any age. He'll train anyone, any age, so kids, any age. He literally said he would train a 2-year-old, which, okay. So food pantry, the Boy Scouts did their annual scouting for food. This year, just amazing, 6,000 pounds of food. Last year, you'll remember it was 4,000, the year before 3,500. So in anticipation of that, Judy had an amazing idea and we followed through. We got staff to help. We cleaned out the emergency shelter equipment from where we store the food. It's an old room that we used for youth services years ago, and it has medical loan closet on one side, the emergency shelter in the center, and the food pantry on one side of the room. And anybody is welcome to come and have a look at it. So we took the emergency shelter equipment, which was floor-to-ceiling cots and blankets and everything, and moved it into an empty room in the child care wing that was not in use, and we're able to move some racks around and a sorting table, and basically doubled the size of our food pantry. And in light of the SNAP benefits not being funded and the need that we feel our community and some of our residents are experiencing food insecurity, we decided to make that room, and amazingly 6,000 pounds of food, 3 tons of food. I can't express how much this was. It was truly amazing, and also we've gotten a lot of financial donations. People have come in with gift cards, so for the holiday baskets we're going to be able to do a lot more. Mary Wielander came in, our state rep, and we discussed our food pantry, other resources, Food Share, 211, United Way, all of the places where people can access food. There are pop-up food like distribution centers, and you can contact a bunch of places and just find out where the food is that's closest to you, and we can refer people that way. I sent another letter to Beecher because they got one in, just as school started, we sent to the free and reduced families. We don't actually get their names, they don't share that information with us, but Laura Abbott, who is at the school, will send to that community for us, and we sent a second letter this past week just telling families, maybe they looked at that letter and they've forgotten that this resource was there, and now they're struggling a little bit more. Food prices have gone up in Connecticut $2,500 this year, and healthcare costs are going up another $1,700 next year. These numbers are from nonpartisan Yale Center. These are not like things I pulled out of thin air. These are legitimate numbers, and so maybe they've forgotten, and we sent another letter to Annalisa Sherman and to Laura Abbott, and I know that they sent it right out. They both thanked me for the letter, and then a family called today and said, yeah, I'm really interested in that. And another guy called and he said, is this the same program that I already signed up for or a different one? And I was like, yeah, no, you're on the list, so you're cool. So that, just to give you an update on what we've been doing, Judy's been incredibly busy, really working very hard. I want to talk a little bit about a couple of donations. The recreation department, I included that in your packet. Kind of was unclear why that was there, but there's a graph in there that they voted to give the Resident Assistance Fund $4,000 that they raised from the annual 5K, which is very generous, and that's terrific. Bill and Anita Silverberg, he wouldn't like it if I used his name, but I am anyway, because he's very generous. He's donated $2,000 to the Resident Assistance Fund. I'm not going to say how much everybody else did, but a lot of money. A lot of money. Hyla and Barry Vines Foundation, John and Amy Morella, John and Mary Beth Walmer, Jean Russ, the One of a Kind Foundation have all made really generous donations. This year we plan to buy a lot of gift cards with that money. I'm waiting for Bailey Moore Schaefer Glazer Proto LLP to let us know that they've got the Thanksgiving distribution covered. That distribution will be the Monday after this, the 24th. And those folks are just the families that don't go to Beecher, because Beecher handles Thanksgiving at the school. PTO does that, but we just do a pie and a gift card to Stop and Shop, and they're all delivered. That's about that. We have about, as of today, 46 families for the holiday baskets. Of that, we've got just about 41 or 42 covered by donors, people who've taken the Adopt a Family choice, and the rest, which is just a few, but I think we'll get a trickle up to 50, we're covering with the Resident Assistance Fund, which is fine. We have delightful food that we separated from the rest of the food drive, that we sorted out some really nice oils and some chocolates and some hot cocoa, like really nice things you might find in a basket. And we've separated those, and we'll add some gift cards. And I know you're going to make a request, but it's a very small number now.
Okay.
It's like 5.
Okay.
And Kathy's going to make a pitch. Just want to go into budget really quickly. We've been instructed to actually, I want to get this right, because the way I've been saying it is create 2 budgets. But that's not really their intent, is not to make us do more work. But we've been asked to do the budget we need, and then also to figure out how we would get to a 0 budget, a 0 increase, if we were to not have our budgets met. So it's not doing 2, but it's being able to figure out what cuts would be made if you didn't get the request. And I know there is a 2.5% increase in salary that would have to be offset. And our outside vendors, I know one vendor that goes up every single year, and it's up by $2,000 at least each year. And another one of the vendors told me today that they're so wonderful. The Women and Family Center, would it be okay if we went up by $50? And the work they do, at a minimum, if they're called, they will stay with a woman at the hospital, and their minimum is like 5 hours with her. And they go to court, they do a ton of other services. And Woodbridge, last year I think there were, not this year that we're in, but the year before, I think there was somewhere between 4 and 6 people who utilized it, and we pay $300. What 5 hours of services for one woman is. And so I really said, whatever you need, because this is invaluable for whoever is experiencing it. And then Living Treasure, you guys never really got a full report. It did very well, and so the Living Treasure is a fundraiser for the senior center's 411 account. It raises money so that Christy and I can purchase things that are not in our budget. So the audiovisual equipment, or what else have we done? We added to buying the car. When we got the car with a grant, we were able to, buy the mats and things for the car from it. And
During renovation, we were able to supplement.
right, we didn't have an FF&E budget for the furniture and fixtures, just the basic building got built, and so that fundraising paid for the pretty blue chairs and such, lamps and lights. So that raised about $12,500, which is incredible. And the event went very well, and I think as smoothly as it can. I think the only thing we could do is, Viviana, I know I told you not to come that night because I had enough.
Don't listen to her next year.
Don't listen to me next
Next year I'll come.
I was short.
Some people didn't show.
Okay.
And one woman, one guy came and then he had to leave because he had a family emergency.
Okay.
So we were short literally an entire team. So that was the only glitch, but everybody had a great time. A lot of money was made, and we really,
Can
Can't ask for more.
Lauren, Aaron, thank you. Pat's not here, or Janet, they were also here that night, but it was a great evening.
it was really a lot of fun. Not leading up to it, but the night was fun. State grant, we received a grant from the state legislature. Mary Wheelander, I think, was primarily responsible for it. Her office helped me decipher why I had gotten this money. The grant is for $25,000 over 2 years. It is $50,000, and it is for basically senior center use, or to improve senior center programming. And we didn't get the STEEP grant, and I think that's why we got this. I guess, what I've heard through the grapevine, I'm not entirely sure about it, but until the town's POCD is finalized, we're not eligible for anything over $25,000. So we didn't get the STEEP grant, but we got this money, so that plus what was in my capital budget of $20,000, and their $50,000 can only be used $25,000 a year. So $45,000 this year. I'm going on Wednesday to the Board of Selectmen to get approval for a state contract. We need to execute an agreement with the state. They've already approved our budget. The budget is to remediate and renovate a room on the second floor, just off the elevator, for use as a senior center recreation room. And it will have the ping pong table and newly refurbished pool table. The ping pong table was bought by 411 funds. And the refurbishing of the pool table was done out of 411 funds, so it all works. Where it's located right now is temporary. It's all the way in the Human Services hallway. It is a very long walk or a climb upstairs for seniors, and we'd like it right off the elevator so that it's just stacked here, and it will be a rec room. It'll be an overflow card room when it can be, when there are events going on down here and the Mahjong players still want to play Mahjong. It'll have that use. So we'll go on Wednesday night and ask them to approve the executed contract and get us this rec room that, we're getting the funding for it without the town of Woodbridge having to shell out any more money.
And I have a question. I know that there were 2 rooms that you hope in the future to have, the first room you just described, and then there's a second room that the food pantry may move into.
So, yeah.
Would this ask on this coming Wednesday be to do any work in the second room?
It's unclear whether the budget that, remediation budget that was set by Fuss and O'Neill, whether or not that covers the remediation of 2 rooms or 1. I believe it was for 2, but the renovation that we would do would be for 1.
But it would be important to try to get both rooms remediated.
Yes, agreed.
So we can
And-
push that for
And
Wednesday.
if the steep grant is announced again this year, and we get our POCD done, I will apply for it again. And that included renovation of the whole second floor, and the entryway to the gym, which would become ADA compliant. So it would be push button entry like at the library. Those are very heavy doors. And the ADA bathroom, I think you'll remember when we applied for the steep grant, we talked about it. The ADA compliant restroom is not ADA compliant on the first floor here. There is literally, if you went into that bathroom with a wheelchair, no location to park the wheelchair and transfer to the toilet. So we really do need to fix that bathroom, and that's our hope, is upgrade the 2 downstairs bathrooms and as well as the ADA compliant restroom. So let's hope they at least approve this first step. The way we got the senior center done was to chip away. You know, we got the ramp, the restroom, the painting, initially the carpeting in here we chipped away, and then people saw that, you know, it could be better, and we got the funding for it. So we'll chip away upstairs, and maybe someday it'll all be done. And then the last thing is the commission dates. So they're in your packet. I wonder if anybody has looked at them, has any objections. We avoided Jewish holidays and any other holidays. The list is here.
And 1 month was skipped.
April.
August.
August is always skipped,
Right.
but April,
But we typically meet in April, but I'm away that week, and I thought maybe we could all take a break.
it worked for us to take a break. At least the staff was happy to not have to do all the reports, and at that time, we all had to do them
And
next
if
month.
something
for 2
changes,
months.
we can revisit and make
Right,
a
a special
meeting.
meeting is not out of the question
Right.
whenever, you know, you guys are available. And so if you make a motion to accept those.
I'll make a motion to accept the calendar for 2026. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Aaron, okay, even though I saw Aaron, but I'm writing Aaron.
Aaron, seconded? Okay.
And any questions on those dates? Okay, and all in favor? So moved, put them in your calendar when you get home, very good. I did have one comment. Are you done with your list?
I am done.
Okay.
Sorry, I just,
Just to highlight for all of us, going back to, you mentioned Judy getting more clients.
oh, no, I'm not finished. But
Okay.
you go ahead with your
Okay.
comment.
So looking at, you know, this report, her reporting, it looks like in September, she had 15 advocacy, 15 times that, you know, she worked on advocacy. October 23. So again, the part-time person is, you know, that's a pretty significant increase, and those numbers will probably, the follow-ups will increase, the more phone calls will increase. So I want us to watch those numbers, even though we're being asked to keep, you know, our budget to 0 if possible. We have to watch those numbers and make sure we're taking care of our clients. And we're not overtaxing, you know, that Judy gets the time she needs for her clients, so I just want to watch those numbers over the months. 15 to 23, 1 month, that's a big increase.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to read you a quick report from Lainey, who started about a month ago as our opioid prevention coordinator. She is, as you know, she was a former employee as a youth services coordinator. She's come back. I've given her a different office, and she's hit the ground running, has already got a program scheduled for February 3rd, which is a Narcan training for the public, and APW, Alliance for Prevention and Wellness, which is through BH Care, is going to do the training and bringing free Narcan to distribute, which is a nice thing. She's looking for test strips, not as readily available, but we're hoping to be able to provide it. And I don't know what those things are called, where you put your meds into the container and it destroys them, but she is going to have those packets. And of course we have the 24/7, we have the drop box for medications. So she scheduled the Narcan training community-wide, and she's looking to partner with the library for other prevention initiatives, and she is research prevention trainings that target a variety of cohorts, seniors. She's reached out to Christy to see if she can do a lunch and learn for the seniors, and that would be regarding, mixing medications and alternatives to opioids for pain medication, and also discarding excess medications, so your grandkids don't get in your medicine cabinet. And she's looking into middle and high school students, parents of those students, and younger children. She attended an opioid prevention task force meeting, and she learned, she says, marijuana is being sold at local smoke shops via misleading packaging. Products appear to be vaping CBD products, but actually contain marijuana. Griffin Hospital has a new program called Empath, which is an extension of their emergency department. Patients with substance abuse disorders can be transferred from the ED when they are medically cleared for substance abuse treatment, aftercare planning. So she's learning a lot what's going on. There's a Safe Spot number that's available now, which is call before using alone. And as soon as you stop communicating with them, they have your location, and none of that information would be shared unless there was a problem. So it's a really safe way to, no identifiers are collected. She reached out to Dr. Tracy and to Andre Hauser at the middle school and the high school to introduce herself, and proposed connecting in person to identify how she can provide programming there. And that's that. I just wanted to update you. She's doing a great job. She's 15 hours a week, and it's paid for out of the opioid settlement.
How many hours? 15?
15. Yeah. Right now she's working mornings.
And how long will that position last?
Well, the money's supposed to trickle in for about 20 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
For now, I'm looking at 1 year, and then we review its success. Have we? I mean, I don't know how you gauge success if one
Prevention is
person.
hard.
Yeah. If one person hears the right message, then it's a success. But just doing the work and having Woodbridge be more educated, I think, is a great thing. So we'll assess in a year and take it for another if she's willing to. She also, just so you know, she has the right qualifications. She's an MSW and she has an MPH. So just realizing that we knew this person and she worked here already, and she had the right qualifications.
That's great. Thank you for that report. Anything else?
I promise.
All right. I make a motion to accept the Human Services report.
I'll second.
Thank you, Viviana. All in favor? So moved. And my update. I think with the holiday basket, I think the last time I spoke with you, Jeanette, the numbers for baskets needed was more of a gap. And so it sounds like we've gotten some more donors. And so if we had met last week, I was going to suggest that maybe as a commission, we do a basket together. So I think we may be okay, but it is something that I'll bring up earlier next year, because maybe that is something that we could all contribute to a basket for a family, but am I correct? It sounds like you're okay.
We're pretty good. Yeah, I got another donor today that actually is a business in Woodbridge, and so
Okay.
I think we were expecting to do 4 or 5 of them
Right.
by the RAF anyway. We've set aside that food already, so
Right.
I think we're pretty good.
Okay,
Unless we get swamped, and then I'll write something to the commission.
all right, so, keep that in mind that in the future, since, it seems like the need for these baskets is increasing. It may be a nice thing for us to do together, so, but what I think the staff could use help with is, because there are more baskets, is to help wrap and put these baskets together, prior to the day that families come and pick them up. And the baskets are, I think, a little more streamlined this year. If some of you have donated in the past, they tended to be, quite
Cumbersome.
large.
Yeah.
And I think the emphasis is more on the gift cards and some smaller food items, as opposed to bulk.
And letting people get what they really need.
And you.
Right, and use, right. We don't want to fill them up with canned goods, especially since, some people just don't eat canned food.
So, Jeanette, help me, when I was looking at the calendar, it looked like December 4th and 5th might be dates that you need wrapping.
Are you here?
No? Okay. And so that's why I'm asking for help.
I think
From the
what I'll do is
commission?
I'll just put out an email
Okay.
saying, can anyone help on these dates, and whatever date we get. Because I'm really not sure at this point. Yeah, the week before would be great.
Okay.
It'll just be a couple hours. Right now, we're literally putting together 4 baskets. One person has a no salt diet, so we just put that person aside so that we can handle that person, and then 3 other seniors, single seniors, and we have all that lovely food we set aside and gift cards, so it would literally just be building some baskets.
Okay, so you're asking baskets to be dropped off December 10th, Wednesday, December 10th?
That's an evening, 2 hours, just to provide somebody who works all day
Right,
an
okay.
evening slot, so they
That's
can
what it
have
is. All right.
4:30 to 6.
I see.
And then the next day, all day, 8:30 to 4:30 on the 11th.
So there's really, I guess it's a 2-part ask. You could use help on the 11th.
Lynn Piazzik has agreed.
Okay, so do you need a second person? The alternative school, are they coming over to
They're
help you?
coming. That's
could
the
probably
12th.
use a
That's the
second.
12th. That's when the baskets go out.
Go
The
out.
11th,
All right.
most people who bring their baskets can bring them in
Yeah,
themselves.
so one person is okay.
So, yeah,
All right.
so, yeah.
So it would
the
be-
12th, we have the kids. I think we'll be okay.
Okay, so you'll put out an email for wrapping with dates.
I think Janet would probably like that, and BPAT also. So
Yeah, I
I'll
wrote
put
a
it out in
note
the
that make sure
email
we
so they can be
include,
part of it.
and, include Jen since she's not here tonight in case she can,
Right.
so she knows that she's being asked as well. But, okay. The next thing is the POCD update. The POCD is still in a draft form. The Board of Selectmen rejected the POCD and turned it so it's back in the hands of the TPZ. The last meeting last month was a lengthy meeting. It was a public hearing as well. There were comments, and there was some discussion, but no vote on the POCD. And so I think the next meeting coming up, we'll continue discussing the POCD. So we don't have one in place at the moment. What I did make a copy of, and I'll kind of pass it so you can see, pass it this way. Jeanette and I wrote public comment to, the first time public comment was taken on the POCD because they did not put in the ADA transition plan that we think is very important in the next 10 years, that we have this plan and make adjustments for the pieces of town buildings that are not ADA compliant as of new standards. So because I believe of our public comment, it is now in the appendix. And I put a little arrow there so you can see that at the bottom. So that's important, because that will, when the POCD is in place and we can use it to help fund grants, we have that line item. The other thing I want just to point out to you is when you see who's responsible for some of the pieces on this particular page that happened at the end to note the ADA transition plan, you'll see that it says CS-HS. So they are now referring to human services as community services - human services.
There's a surprise.
So there is a comment, and it's up at the top here somewhere, about the, this is section D when you get it, explore the overlap of services between human services and recreation department and consider combining into a single community services department. So that's in this action plan, but you'll see anytime human services is mentioned, they know us as community service as well. And I'm not aware that there's been any information or communication with you since the last.
So all I got was
Time
that
checked.
we should wait until after the election.
Okay.
And since that didn't happen last week, we have to wait until tonight. Literally, don't start your budget until you know which way this is going, and that's fair. And I wasn't sad not to start. It's a big process.
Yes, right.
But yeah, we'll get to that at the end of this week.
But again, this is all pending what TPC does with the plan. So we still have to be careful and watchful of changes that they make and make sure that, or, in my perspective, make sure this department's taken care of.
Right. Last minute, oops, we pulled that out, thought it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, so it is important that we look at the page. I think the link was in the, I think Jeanette added the
I
link.
did add the link, yeah.
That's, from the town website, and so as the TPC moves forward, we just want to make sure that the pieces that are important to this department remain intact.
Does this have to do with why it was not accepted initially by the Board of?
It's a very rough copy, I think, because there were pages that needed to still be updated.
It didn't look complete to me, what was presented. It was still, blanks.
So there's nothing they necessarily didn't like, it just wasn't done.
It
And
wasn't
I
time
have
to approve if you don't see the finished product.
Yeah.
But the other part for me as a listener was the amount of public comment made to the Board of Selectmen about the lack of input in the process. Even though there were a lot of meetings, there were public, public was invited in to give input. I think the Conservation Commission was especially vocal in that they were an integral part of the plan of conservation and development. And so I think that had to be somewhere in the mix, because that came through over and over again. But the plan itself, I think wasn't complete.
Yeah, the whole process with the people who coordinated the
consultants.
document, when we were given a 15-minute meeting to meet with them, as was every other commission, and it just felt like, how are they supposed to learn what was wrong with the last one, what we thought needed to be done here, and our voice to hear not our voice, but the voice of human services, what needs to be the future which trends are happening. And that's just one tiny little segment, and I can imagine other departments were feeling the same problem with the process. And certainly, obviously, residents spoke up, they were too. So
Yeah, there's a lot of public comments.
I think for the part of the Board of Selectmen, I think they tried hard to make this a very public, receptive process. But I don't think the consultants were I don't know, I'm gonna stop talking.
Yeah, but it is all on video if there isn't anything more exciting to watch on television. You can zip through, some of the meetings to hear
Double
some of
time.
that.
I recommend
The double time is good.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
So is this, on this paper that you're
Yeah.
passing out, is this what you and Jeanette met with, and is this pretty much what you spoke about, that you?
No, in our 15 minutes was really to go over all of the needs of the department in the next 10
This
years.
is only one little part of the.
No,
Right.
I know, but what is on here, did that come from your discussion?
It was a piece
curious.
of our discussion that got left out of the original, of the first plan.
So I'm curious what coordinate with neighboring towns to share and innovate senior services, what that refers to? Any idea?
No, I haven't even
No.
seen this.
No,
Coordinate
I-
youth services with the broader.
That was
community.
not something Jeanette and I talked about in our very few minutes together. Actually, I take it back. I think there may have been a question from the consultant, if we coordinate, can a resident come to our senior center if they go to another? So there's a little discussion about, yes, I mean, the borders are open and we can share. And so there was a little comment, but it wasn't anything that we were saying like it was a need.
Yeah, I have no idea what that means. It's not something that either of us promoted.
No. So
And
that's
Kathy
something we
did
can-
suggest establishing in-house mental health services, so that's accurate. And increasing the social workers' hours, that's accurate. Obviously, there was a suggestion, but I think Pat had contributed a little with CCW plan about a shuttle in town that had been.
Yes, if there was senior housing
Out there,
in
a
other
shuttle
parts of
to bring
town,
them.
to be able to shuttle
Right.
residents to the center. Yeah.
The other pieces.
Yeah. You can have that. If you want. We might, maybe we still probably have time to amend it because it hasn't been approved.
Yeah, so this one, the last bullet under B, is that what you're talking about? Oh, did you just?
Was that an addendum or appendix? How was
It's
it?
an appendix.
An appendix.
I believe it's an appendix.
Yes. Okay. I will,
Yep, we can check that out.
I don't know. Can I keep this one?
Yes, you can. I didn't print out the 170 pages.
I don't know why.
Okay. Any old business, new business? Our next meeting, December 1st. I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:10. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Viviana. And it passes by acclamation. Thank you very much.